I'd like to mention something that very few people in this room understand, and it involves our first award. It begins with a man who epitomized the unsurpassed reaction of the Greek people to the Holocaust, Metropolitan Chrysostomos. He was demanded by his Nazi commander to present a list of the Jews of Zakynthos, Greece. Instead, he sent the Jews to the mountains of Greece, and they were all saved. Then he and the mayor presented to the Nazi commander an envelope with a list of names, his and the mayor's. As well, Greece was the only Nazi-occupied country in the world whose national religious leader publicly opposed the Holocaust as it was happening. And this motivated priests and citizens all over Greece to risk their deaths and to die hiding Jewish people, including the father of Israeli President Shimon Perez. A Jewish girl in Thessaloniki, unlike the other 60,000, she disregarded Rabbi Koritz's promise of a better work camp at Auschwitz. She was hidden in a Nazi-occupied village of 500 Greek people, not one of which chose their safety over her life. The Greek people also ranked very well among countries in terms of preserving Greek properties for those who never came back. And in Auschwitz, the Greeks launched the only revolt, and reportedly, they sang the Greek national anthem as they were being killed. And now here is a video of President Perez receiving the 2014 Metropolitan Chrysostomos Award.
President Perez, on behalf of the Ochi Day Foundation, which will be gathering in October in Washington, D.C., I would like to present you with their highest award. The award is named in honor of Metropolitan Chrysostomos, the righteous among the nations, the Greek Orthodox clergyman who saved many Jews on the island of Zakynthos during the Second World War by hiding them and identifying himself and the mayor of the town as Jews to the Nazis. This award is given to people who represent the symbols of the struggle against anti-Semitism, against racism, against intolerance, and against discrimination. And there is no one on earth today who represents those struggles more than you, President Shimon Perez.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored and very touched, because for me, Greek is not just a country. It's part of the history of my family and the ideology of my party, about which I shall say later on a few words.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much indeed. I was very moved by this award. It's very meaningful to me, because my connection are two of different natures. One is a family connection, and the other is an ideological connection. The family connection is my father joined in the British Army in the Second World War, and he fought with them in Greece. And he understood that if he will be captured by the Nazis, they'll finish him. So he looked for a hideaway. And finally, he found that a monastery where the monks decided to give him shelter. They risked their lives, because if the Nazis would discover that they hide a prisoner and a Jew at the monastery, they would kill them. My father was overwhelmed. He was there for 2 years. And all the time, the monks covered him and helped him. When he came later on home, he was totally taken by the Greek people, the monks, and by the way they handled him, risking their own life. and they came back home happily and strong and sung to our children Greek songs. The second connection is ideological. You know, Ben-Gurion, the founder of the State of Israel, decided to learn the Greek language. Why? He thought there was something missing in our history, and that is the meaning of a state. He thought that we have great prophets, we have great priests, maybe we have some good kings, but we don't know real statesmen. He decided to learn the Greek philosophy in order to understand what does it mean to be a head of a state. He studied the Greek language and he made out of it part of our ideology. We call it in Hebrew mamlachti, which means state-like. And I think he became the greatest statesman the Jews have ever had. I was his pupil, so you can see that my connections come from two different angles, and they're still part of my life and part of my thoughts. Thank you.
And before we pause the program, if I might just mention something to put into perspective both the Chrysostomos Award and our honorees today. And David Harris said it last year when he received the award. He said, "Thank you for this award." He said, "I like to think that if I were in Metropolitan Chrysostomos' situation, that I would do the same thing." He said, "But I'm not sure that I would." He said, "Ask yourself, if you were in that situation, would you do the same thing?" And it really does put it into perspective what an extraordinary thing it was the Metropolitan and all of those people in Greece did during the Holocaust and what our honorees are doing currently. And now there's a pause in the program and we'll enjoy your dinner before we begin the rest of the program.